But we are in for the football weekend of the year. Most importantly, though, today is a big day in football annals because it is the day that Mike Vrabel interviews for the New England Patriots head coaching job. This is the day. And it is supposed to be a done deal, right? Once he gets in there, they're not going to let him leave the facility. And of course, that is still the way I'm leaning as a Patriots fan who follows this every day. This is the way I'm leaning towards what the organization is going to do. But the more this goes along, which obviously has nothing to do with the interviews because they haven't interviewed him yet, but it feels like there is some element of it's not a done deal. And that's mostly coming from the Vrabel side, and it was out there the whole time. You know, we saw that report from The Athletic of what Vrabel wanted in a team. First off, it said he wanted to coach the Patriots. Like there's a definite interest there, and that's what we've all been running with. But there was also those three things, and one of the things, you know, open communication with the ownership, having the quarterback, and the other thing was personnel control. I don't know that he comes in here and just gets personnel control. In fact, I kind of doubt it. I think he should, because honestly, at this point, I think after the disaster you just went through with that one season of Mayo, you can give this guy some power here because you don't know what you've got at quasi GM. Elliot Wolf does not call himself the GM, and that's not his job title officially. But I see a guy in Vrabel who's been a successful head coach before, and if you're going to go in and do this, I wouldn't mind giving him some sort of personnel control. And to be honest, I would say the same about Ben Johnson, who's a guy who's not been a head coach before. Like if you're going to bring that guy in and you're going to believe in his philosophy, then he should be able to shop for some of the groceries, as the great Bill Parcells put it, with this very same owner. I think that is a reasonable expectation in the NFL in 2025. But of course, the most salivating part of this is not just Mike Vrabel, but the rumors abound, and they are getting to be hot rumors at this point that Josh McDaniels is going to come in and be the OC if Vrabel is to take over as the Patriots head coach. Guys, I love it. I love it. As much as I understand why you wouldn't want to go back to Patriots regime, and it's one of the things I knocked on their hire for Gerard Mayo, like Josh McDaniels was not the problem. In fact, you go back to Mac Jones's career and the way it's fallen apart the last couple of years, the only good year he had was under Josh McDaniels. And if you had kept Mac Jones in a Josh McDaniels system, specifically with Belichick as head coach, then you could be talking about Mac Jones having a Brock Purdy type career right now. That's not unreasonable at all. Does he get to a Super Bowl? I don't know about that. Brock Purdy's got a lot of other talent around him, but their skill set, pretty damn similar. They're not big guys. They don't really sling it. They're not great against man defenses. Purdy's a little bit better than what we saw from Mac Jones, but they're not that different. They're not they're not big time prototype quarterback gunslingers arms the way that, you know, Drake May is, the way that Josh Allen is, and some of these other either elite quarterbacks or, in the case of May, prospective elite quarterbacks. But it doesn't stop there, because I had this dream, this just fantasy dart thrown at the dartboard that could actually come to fruition. It's not crazy. I envision a world where Mike Vrabel comes in with Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator, Robert Saleh as his defensive coordinator, and the Patriots go out and get a real GM, and that is the assistant GM, Mike Borgonzi of the Kansas City Chiefs, with all the Boston ties and the Scott Pioli ties. So a little bit of Belichick adjacent, Patriots dynasty adjacent. The Jets have already interviewed 2 of those guys. They've already interviewed Borgonzi, and they've already interviewed Mike Vrabel. But I don't think it's that crazy because Saleh is looking for DC jobs. In fact, there's a lot of traction with the Niners. A lot of the analysts covering that team don't believe that he would go back. And it would also be 5 DCs in 5 years for San Francisco. This guy, you look at the Jets after he was fired. The Jets were a top-tier defense the last couple of years. They couldn't put it together offensively. And then they get Rodgers out there, and then it becomes a whole mess. And you fire Saleh after week 5 of the season. He was the first coach fired this year. And there was a great graphic that was on the Jets broadcast last week, and that was the defensive ranks before and after Robert Saleh got fired. In yards per play, they were first in the league. Yards per pass attempt, second in the league. Opposition yards per game, second in the league. Points per game, 5th in the league. And after Saleh was fired, yards per play, 10th. Yards per pass attempt, 26th. Opposing yards per game, 15th. Points per game, 28th. They became horrible. They went from an elite defense to a dog shit defense after they fired this guy. For years, my dream scenario was that the Patriots would hire Rex Ryan as their DC because he was an awesome coordinator, not a great head coach, although, had his years with the Jets. Robert Saleh, I thought, was an okay coach, the way he had built that team up. Of course, he was not the GM of that team as well, so something to be said for that. I thought Saleh was an okay head coach, not as bad as the Jets made him out to be, and is an elite defensive coordinator. Elite. And he's looking for a job. You want to hear about another former defensive coordinator that really wanted to stick it to the Jets and came to New England? Robert Saleh, come on. Come on, baby. It would make all the sense in the world for me if Vrabel would if Vrabel comes in with that holy trinity beside him, we're talking about like playoff contention in 2026. If he's able to bring in Josh McDaniels and Robert Saleh, and of course, throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it'll stick, Mike Borgonzi as the team's GM.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.